So I've switched to a stand-up desk. Why is that? Ever since I've been a teenager, I've always had issues with my back. It's a mixture of bad posture and just being lanky in general. I've never been an overly fit person, but I'm not an unfit person either. But in the last couple of years, my back has been giving me a lot of issues. So I decided about a year and a bit ago to make my own standing desk with my old desk from IKEA, and then a couple of, they're like little coffee tables from IKEA as well, and I stacked them on top of each other, and it worked. It was fine. I mean, I didn't have much leg room. If I wanted to sit down, I couldn't lower it at all, which was a bit of a pain in the ass, but it worked. And I did see within like 2-3 weeks a big difference in my back issues that I have in my upper back and even my lower back. But when I swapped to a stand-up desk, even though it was the shitty little one that I built myself, I seen a big difference. And moving to Dublin, I didn't bring that full setup with me. I threw out the coffee table bits because it was a bit of a pain in the ass, and it wasn't the most pretty thing in the world. Really just thrown together out of necessity. I've actually been going to physio the last kind of 3-4 weeks for my back, and I mentioned that I was kind of thinking of pulling the trigger and getting one of these, and the physio said, just do it. It'll make a world of difference to me. So a couple of invoices came in and I just pulled the trigger and I went out and got it yesterday. It was very easy to build. I think I got it built in about maybe an hour and a half. It was actually the clearing up of the desk and getting my computer organized and getting all the stuff off that took time. But the actual building of it itself, it's like the 2 motor legs, a bar that goes across, and then the desk goes on top of them, and that's it. And then you just wire everything up. I didn't even know if I wired it correctly, but it seems to work fine, so I'm not going to change anything. So the desk I got is the IKEA Bekant. That one. It's about 570 euros, so it is on the expensive side, but I look at it as an investment because I think it's going to be a desk I'm going to have for years to come. Now, there are more expensive desks out there. I was looking online, and IKEA seems to be kind of in the middle section of where some of the standing desks are. Like, some of them are super expensive and some of them are very cheap but don't look great. They have a cheaper version that's hand cranked as well. Now, this desk is it's powered, so it's just a button I press and everything moves down. So that is super handy. You're not standing there winding and winding and winding. So if I decide that I want to get into a sitting position, I just press the button, down it goes, get out my stool, done. That is super convenient for me, because what I found when I was using the DIY stand-up desk is throughout the day, I'd be in a standing position and moving around a lot. Later that night, you do get tired because you're standing all day, and you may be taking steps and stuff, but you're constantly active in comparison to sitting down the whole day. So by the end of the day, my legs were really tired, but it's not like a bad tired. You kind of feel like you've just walked the whole day. So what I found I was doing was using the stool I picked up, which is another IKEA product. It extends up high if I want to use the desk in a standing position, or goes down low if I want to use it in a sitting position. I started using that at the end of the day, sitting down, but I couldn't, because of the other desk, I couldn't actually lower it. So this one will be a lot handier to get into a more relaxed position if I'm playing games or just browsing the internet or whatever. I won't be using a desk chair with this when I bring it down to a sitting position because they just don't suit me. I was using a desk chair here for about 2 weeks when we moved into this place, and I just got really, really sore, really, really stiff. And I swapped straight back to the stool because I found myself sitting upright more. I find with a stand-up desk, I'm more alert. I'm focused more on what I'm doing. You can take a breather and just kind of take a step back if you want. What I find when I'm looking at edits or working or like reading an email or something is I'll move. When I'm reading it, I'll kind of move around. And I don't know, I think I'm more alert. I'm more engaged in what I'm supposed to be doing. But look, everyone's different. Like, stand-up desks may not work for some people at all. They could have a bad leg, they could have a bad back when they're standing and they need to sit. But I know for me, this is perfect. Look, as far as the IKEA desk goes, I can't really fault it. I don't have much other desks to compare it to, but it's grand. I think this is MDF with like a wood finish on top. You know, it looks nice, it's minimalist, it's clean. I added like a shelf unit here. This is from IKEA again, so it's a little shelf unit, and these legs are about 5-6 inches high, and I use that to raise my monitor because, again, I'm a tall guy. With my monitor needs to be right in front of my eyes, which it does for most people. I can't look down a lot of the time. Like, if I'm looking like that working, I'll find my neck will start to get really stiff and sore. But when it's up this way and I'm kind of standing upright, I find it a lot easier. I would recommend, if you are thinking of getting a stand-up desk, to get a mat of some kind. Now the one I'm using isn't amazing. It's from IKEA. It's a cheap little €5 mat thing. It's got rubber on the bottom so it doesn't slide around. This mat is more so I don't damage the floor. Mainly when I was using the stool, because the stool has it's a kind of plastic / rubber bottom to it, and I found it could kind of scratch wood floors. But you may want to look at getting a slight padded mat, because when you're standing up all day, you know, it can be hard on your legs and your lower back. So either wear really good shoes or get a padded mat. It'll help your legs and your back a lot. I'm wearing padded Nike Free Run runners. Super comfortable. I've never really had an issue with them. I use them all the time. My main thing now is I want to figure out how to organize the cables underneath. A good 70% of them are hidden directly underneath it, but there's a few here you can see because the cables aren't actually long enough. See, I'm a tall guy. I'm like 6'2", 6'3" nearly. So some of the cables don't actually reach the computer. So I either need to get longer cables or longer like adapters for the cables, or raise the computer up so that they can plug into it. I have most of the cables bongo tied to this leg here. It just keeps them nice and neat and behind and out of sight. A really surprising thing that I found in switching to this desk is it makes the room look way bigger. Like, we don't have a big apartment by any stretch of the imagination. This smaller room, which is our office / living space, because we don't have an extra room for any of my stuff, feels bigger with this desk and it looks cleaner. So if you have a small space, this can make a visual difference to it. So if you have any questions about stand-up desks or what my setup is in general, leave a comment down below and I'll get back to you. If you're not subscribed, consider subscribing. I'm going to do a few more of these videos kind of talking about my gear and my setup and why I use them the way I use them. I also do gameplay videos if you're into that kind of thing. I will probably do a desk setup video of what I use here, because like, it's not all super expensive stuff, bar maybe the monitor that was quite expensive, but it's my baby and I love it to pieces. So yeah, I hope you liked it. Look after your backs and I'll see you in the next video.